You're watching News Channel 3 live at 9 with Alex Coleman and Mary Beth Conley.
And welcome back to News Channel 3 live at 9. It's a topic that's often seen as taboo, but many couples often experience some type of intimacy issues in the bedroom.
And even though it can have an impact on other areas of your relationship, many don't get help because they're either too embarrassed or perhaps too angry. Dr. Katherine Blackney is with Heart Life Professional Soul Care. She's here with some advice for couples. Doctor, welcome. Glad to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, let's put it on the table here. As reluctant as we might be to talk about this, a lot of folks do get embarrassed. A lot of couples do get even angry when they have to sit down and talk, especially with a stranger, much less to each other. Why is this the case?
Well, it's such an intimate issue. I mean, not only are they coming to talk to a therapist or to their gynecologist about certain issues that are going on or difficulties, but then to talk about their sexual intimacy and just the details of that can be really scary. It can be exposing. They're vulnerable. And so you really have to treat it with the utmost respect and care and compassion when you're working with clients.
Yeah, is this more of a male problem? I mean,
the embarrassment or the whole problem?
Anything, just being able to talk openly about this. I mean, what are you seeing? What's out there these days?
Well, I think it's equal. I think women sometimes kind of, are not knowing the words to talk about it in terms of if they have any difficulties with pain or if they have arousal or desire difficulties. They don't know the words or how to communicate to that. And I think with men, the difficulty with that is the embarrassment over other dysfunctions.
Well, and because nobody talks about it, I would imagine that if you are having some sort of problem, you feel like you're the only one, and so there must be something wrong with me. So of course you don't want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
But in fact, this is really common, isn't it? I mean, how many, first of all, how many different kinds of problems might a couple experience? I mean, is that infinite? And how many, if you have 10 couples, statistically, how many of them are having some sort of issue?
Well, I think, in terms of sexual intimacy, you have anything from sexual abuse, sexual addiction, to sexual dysfunctions like the low arousal or low desire. You have, so there's so many different sexual dysfunctions going on. And I would say out of, with my clients, on average, 1 out of 10 couples, I would say 8 are extremely, having some difficulties with the sexual intimacy area.
So I'm wondering though, are we discussing this even a little bit more these days? I mean, it almost seems like it's forced or thrust on us because of the internet, because of situations when we hear about a Tiger Woods situation with his wife Elin, or especially when you compare it to maybe when people didn't really talk about it, so to speak, back in the 1950s or beforehand.
I think we're definitely we're hearing about it more.
And is that a good thing?
Well, at least it's opening the avenues for communication. So I think it can be a good thing. I think, what's the difficulty is when you start seeing the perversion of something so intimate as sex in the media and displayed.
Right, particularly on the internet, because there's so much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Who is more likely to, first of all, you could have a sexual intimacy problem that shows up in other ways in the relationship, right?
Right.
Does it truly affect every other aspect of the relationship?
Well, sexual intimacy is so important in a marriage and in a couple relationship that it can bleed into all other areas, such as lack of patience and really quick to be irritable, no communication, really having that be a dry spell. So it can affect so many areas of a relationship. It can affect going to work. I mean, it's something that a couple can think about every day, all day.
So if a couple comes in for counseling for another issue, they're not agreeing on whatever. Do you always ask? How's it going in the bedroom?
I do.
You don't ask it that way, do you?
Right. No, ma'am.
Okay.
But I do. Well, I ask how are y'all doing sexually?
And how willing are people to go there?
You know, honestly, they're very willing.
Are they really?
Seriously?
They are very willing. There is kind of a sigh of relief of, oh, finally someone will talk to us about this.
Wow.
Maybe we can get some education and learn how to enhance that area of our relationship.
Is that difficult, though, for even you to do, though? I mean, being in the line of
Sure.
work that you're in, to put yourself in the other people's shoes, so to speak, to ask the questions that need to be asked. How difficult or how hard is that for you to do?
You know, this is kind of a specialty that I have been drawn to with, I have a marriage and family therapy background, and this is just such a large part of every person's life, single, coupled, partnered, and so I really enjoy opening the avenue to talk about it.
Is this something that seniors can benefit from, or folks in their
Absolutely.
40s, 30s, or even 20s?
Absolutely. I think it spans all age groups. So yeah.
Wow, very cool. So how do we get in touch with you? I mean, and do couples have to be experiencing problems in the other areas, or if they just think there's something maybe that's not 100%, they should just call you? I mean, is it that simple?
Absolutely. I love giving suggestions and book readings and, you know, helping any way that I can. And so I work at Heart Life Professional Soul Care, which is in Germantown.
Okay.
And we have a website. It's heartlifeprofessionalsoulcare.org.
Okay.
And so I work there with 6 other fantastic therapists that I just adore. So we have a lot of fun.
All right, she's making the world better one couple at a time.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, very much. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank
Pleasure
you.
to meet you.
All right. We still have much more ahead this morning on News Channel 3 Live at 9, including a positive change.
You know, the statistics on even if you're miserable, whether or not you are willing to make a change are pretty astonishing. They'll help you take that step next.